Welcome back to Just Joe and Me. I am Donna.
And I am Adam. What's going on, Donna?
Well,
Haven't
we
seen
took
you
a
in a
one
while.
week we took a 1 week unplanned hiatus, which we don't do often. We've actually been pretty solid and steady. We have like not missed a lot of weeks, but last week was such a hard week for me to show up because I was so sick.
Yeah, what do you have? What was wrong? Tell me every symptom
I
and
know this is
every
like
single thing. I want to hear all the
this
disgusting
turns you
facts.
on.
It kind of does. Let's hear it. Let's go. Let's
I
do it.
know. I should have called the doctor, Dr. Newman. I should have. Okay, so well, it was the weirdest thing because normally your cold starts with like a really bad tickle in your throat, sore throat, and you're like, oh, here we go. Never got it. I like just started with this weird kind of like almost like a congestion, and I was like, oh, it's allergies. Like I thought it was allergies, so I just took Zyrtec, but then it just never went away, and I felt fine the first day. I worked out on Monday, and then it just kind of got worse and worse. And the thing is, I never I never got the sore throat. I just had a really heavy head cold where I was blowing my nose and stuffy and runny, and then but just low energy. And then I couldn't smell or taste, and then so I was convinced I had the vid, but
Yup.
I was clear. I took a test. Shockingly,
And
Lance had
no
it.
and no
What?
flu. Nothing.
Well, I didn't have fever,
Okay.
so I don't think I had a flu.
Okay. So
I
just a
always
nasty
think
cold.
flu is a fever. Is it not?
I think most times, yeah, you do have a fever when you have the flu. But
But I,
yeah, I think sometimes it's different.
I really didn't have energy. I also didn't have an appetite. I was like not hungry. I didn't want to eat really. I just was really lethargic. I was really low energy. I didn't want to, usually I can work out through a cold. I didn't feel like it. I didn't want to do much. I was also going through a very, very, really awful, challenging personal situation. We can kind of touch on it, but I don't really want to get that much into it. But it does relate a little bit to this podcast and being Jewish. So it was a little bit
Yeah.
funky. And that definitely added to all of the feelings. And then and actually even today, we're recording this Monday morning. I am not 100%. Like I feel so much better. I worked out again finally today, but I woke up and I was still like, what the hell? It's like the strangest thing. Like I usually am pretty healthy. I got something weird, but I'm so glad that it's now because I don't know if you struggle from this. I do have a health anxiety issue, not in the grand scheme of the world, but I'm always nervous that I'm going to be sick for important
Of
events.
course, of course.
Do you
Oh,
have that?
yes, always. And it's like, when I have something coming up, and especially when one of my children gets sick, and you're like, I need to stay the hell away from you. I love you, but literally do not cuddle with me.
Cannot ruin this for me.
Right. I'm going here, or I have this appointment, or I have this to do. You cannot screw this up. So
I know.
I
I
get it.
and
Totally get
it's but this has been I think this started around my wedding. Like I remember this feeling from when I got married.
it.
I remember feeling this in 2011 because months before my wedding, I was scared that I was going to be sick on my wedding day. And then my biggest fear happened because I finally was sick for a big event for Taylor Swift in
I
2023.
remember that.
You do?
Yeah, I remember you like trying to get IVs done and all
Yes.
this stuff done to see if you can figure out how to make yourself well.
And I mean, people really judge me for this because I did end up going to that concert so sick. But I had floor seats for the Eras tour. And you know that is one of the hardest tickets to come
Of
by.
course, of course.
Would you go?
I've go to a lot of concerts, and I have missed one or two concerts that were because of sickness. Um, but I think the concerts that I've missed were not as big and not as like, epic as Taylor Swift Eras tour. So I don't know. I mean, it's not even just that. You weren't sitting in nosebleeds. You don't have like average seats. You had floor seats.
Like sixth row floor seats. They were the most impossible tickets to get. And it wasn't one of those concerts that were like, okay, she's playing again, tomorrow and I can just go
Right.
tomorrow.
Right.
Like you
No,
can't go the next day.
you know, it, It's a good segue to the World Series. So I think, like, if
Yes.
I had tickets to
We're
the World
we're World
Series,
Series right now.
yes, and if I had tickets to the World Series and I was sick as you and I had really good seats,
What
I
would you
would
do?
I would probably go somehow. I would mask up, just
Mask up.
hey,
Really?
why not? Well, you know what? Because at
Really?
least the people around me will know to stay away from me, and that's it. I don't want to
Listen,
get
the
other
way I
people.
looked at it was an outdoor concert.
Yes.
Um, there was honestly, I didn't even have a voice. Like I don't even think I could sing. I was so low energy that I just stood there. I was like probably a dead person walking. I I do feel guilty, and I'm sure a lot of people are very mad at me for that, but the I had to do it. Like I couldn't not go to a Taylor Swift Eras tour concert, and I'm glad I went, but it was miserable. It's miserable when you're sick. And it wasn't just a head cold, like I was not functioning. I was like not in my right head. I was not okay, but I didn't have COVID. And
Right.
I because I tested, I remember, and I didn't have fever. I just was not good. This cold I whatever. It's a long story, but the point is we have Dylan's bar mitzvah in what
God, that's
18 days or whatever. So I'm so glad that it happened now and not in a few weeks. And I'm
yes.
praying to God that I will be healthy from now until then. And I'm just going to be really, really good about, taking vitamins and drinking a lot of water from here on out. And hopefully this was it.
So my daughter Bellamy was sick last week, and she
She
had to
gave it to
miss.
me probably, even though I haven't
You
seen
didn't
her.
see her. She almost missed. She turned 10 on Thursday, so thankfully, she probably went to school sick, and she was
Well,
sick
they're all
on
sick at
Wednesday. I
school.
know. She stayed home on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, she we pumped her full of Motrin and whatever other kid drugs we could put her on because it was her birthday and she wanted to do it. So she was fine. But the thing is, like, I have tickets to the World Series on Wednesday. I'm
You're
going to the
going.
game. I'm going to Game 5 at Dodger
Oh my
Stadium.
God. Wait, this
Yes.
could be the winning game.
Well, yes, if the Dodgers win today, which, by the way, it's
Every
Monday, October 27th. So, yes, tonight is Game 3, then Game 4 is tomorrow, Tuesday, and then Game 5 is Wednesday. So, if the Dodgers win the next few games, yes, it could be the clinching game. Even if it's not, I'm super excited. But the same thing goes into my head with what you just said, which is I need to stay away from people who are sick because I do not want to miss Wednesday. I mean, I'm wearing my Dodger shirt right now. I got to wear it all day. So, of course.
Do you have multiple Dodger shirts?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay, let me ask you a question about that. Do people buy tickets for game 6 and 7 already?
Well, 6 and 7 are in Toronto, but are you saying
Oh, so
yeah,
no matter what, even if it goes to 6 and 7, it won't happen in LA.
correct. But
That
if you
sucks.
were, yes, but people do buy tickets and you get fully refunded. So if you were to buy tickets through, let's say, the Blue Jays website, you would get fully refunded.
Okay.
Or if you bought tickets through like StubHub or one of those, they fully refund you if the game is not played.
Who
So
are you going with?
you're not risking anything. A former coworker who was lucky enough to score some tickets.
You
So
got it through them.
yes, and I am.
And are they incredibly expensive?
Uh, I don't know how much they are. This is sort of a gift. This was something
Aw.
that was promised to me last year, but the
Wow.
game was not played because the Dodgers won before that game actually happened. So they were very nice, this former coworker, and it carried over to this year. So right now the game is definitely happening because there needs to be a game 5 because they're 1-1. So I'm very much stoked. The game starts at 5 p.m. I will probably get there at 2 p.m. because I'm crazy and just walk around and bask.
Just be there.
Yes. So I'm very excited. I just don't want to get sick.
No,
Don't
just live in a bubble.
That's what I'm gonna do.
That is so exciting, and you need that win after a tough few weeks. How are you feeling with everything after Dad?
Still overwhelming. There's a lot. It's really difficult to as you go through it right away for those 2 weeks, those first 2 weeks where everybody is extremely nice and I was getting a lot of texts and phone calls from people that I hadn't spoken to in a long time, people being very sweet about it, and this is nobody's fault, but people get on with their lives and they
Of course.
continue living, and so as the weeks go by, you're not getting as many phone calls, you're not getting as much people reaching out to you.
Sure.
So, right, which is fine, and I get it. People again are going on with their lives. But me, there's still, that sense of, of mourning and needing to grief over this. And, I'm going over tomorrow to help my mom and to deal with all of these, things that you deal with, looking through the house and starting to figure out what we need to keep in the house and what we can throw away, all of that kind of stuff, and, bills and all that fun stuff. So there's still a lot of that. But yeah, there's still that grieving part on my own where it's been difficult. And maybe I mentioned this last week, but it's the whole thing of like, I really connected with sports with my dad. Like that was a big thing, and
Yeah.
watching sports and all of that stuff. And the NBA season, that was big for us, for me and my dad, and the Lakers. And the season started last week, and it's just weird. Like there was not a huge game, but one of the players on the Lakers, this guy Austin Reeves, had an amazing game yesterday. And usually it would be an entire text conversation between me and my dad, or I'd call him and we'd talk about it. But that's just not there anymore. And it sucks. It really, really sucks. And it just feels weird. It feels off right now.
Mm.
So
Yeah, you feel the missing piece when you have those like moments that you're like, oh, I want to call dad.
and it just like it hits you, and then you're like, oh shit. And that happens a lot. Like just randomly driving, you're like, oh, I want to tell my dad this. Oh, I can't. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of the process, and it's still hard. It gets easier, a little bit easier every day. But I'm very fortunate to have a very loving family. I have a wife who went through something very similar 10 years ago with her dad, and understands kind of all of this that you're going through. So she's been very, very supportive. And it's just, I feel like I do have a good, like solid group of people and friends and family that have been very supportive. So I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, it's still not easy.
No, of course not. And I don't think anyone expects it to be easy at all forever. Like I think those are the things that I know, people in their 70s that lose their parents and struggle. You know what I mean? My mom literally is 76 years old. She's turning 77 this year, and her mother died in 2023. So when she was 74 years old, and she just texted me because she's in Haifa right now, and where her mother lived and died, and she went to her grave, which is this like in Israel in the cemetery, it's like above ground, huge. Like I don't even know how to describe it. Like a tombstone. Like it looks very gaudy, almost like a very above ground burial tombstone. Like
Is
if
that
you
how
see
it
a
is in
picture,
Israel for all? Like
I
I have
don't
no idea.
know. I mean, it's wild looking. It looks so like big, and I mean it's crazy. It is a crazy looking tombstone. If I show you a picture, you'll die. Um, but my mom like laid next to it, was smiling, and she was like, I miss my mom so much. Like, so what do you say? And they had a very tumultuous relationship too. It wasn't like it was all perfect. Like she treated my mom, she was so annoyed by her mother until the day she died. Like they fought all the time, it was like a tumultuous Israeli mother-daughter relationship. But I don't think you ever go through a period where you're like, "Oh, I'm so glad my mom died," unless you hate your
Right,
parents,
unless there's right, exactly.
I
I
you know,
know.
I think that you're always gonna grieve the loss of your parents, and you're always gonna grieve the loss of people close to you until the day you die. Like that you're always going to feel sad about your dad dying. That's
Yeah.
not something that will ever go away. I think the sadness or that feeling of like, "Oh, I wanna call my dad," that will lessen. That feeling of like, the instant like, "Oh, I should text my," that feeling.
Yeah, I think no, you're right. I think the hardest, and I forgot to mention this, the hardest part of last week was um Bellamy's birthday, because we always, when if it's a birthday, especially of the grandkids, it's a birthday, holiday, any of those, we have kind of our core group of family that gets together, where it's my aunt comes over, my brother, my parents, and then if my sister-in-law's in town, she'll come, and then my mother-in-law. And it's always kind of the same group. And my on Thursday we had a group, our family member, that group come over, and my dad was missing. And like even Bellamy, she had a great day. Like she really had a great day of friends and family and presents. But she came up to me at some point in the evening and saw that I was feeling sad. Like she could tell.
Of
And
course.
she came up to me. She's like, "I'm sad too, Dad." And she gave me a big hug. And like it's tough. It's like those family things are going to be the things that really kind of get to me.
Well, you feel the instant like void when you're all together as a family. There's no question. I always think about that, like, God forbid when this time comes, but when we lose, when I say my parents, like I'm thinking my mom and my stepdad because my dad is MIA in my life. But when one of my parents goes, oh my God, like I won't even know how to function around a family dinner, like a holiday.
Yeah,
Oh, like
I know.
I can't even go there in my brain because like it doesn't even like we did what did we do this year? Rosh Hashanah. We
Mhm.
did without my mom because my mom was in Israel already, or she went to Paris actually to meet with friends before she went to Israel, and my stepdad was there, but my mom wasn't there. But it was not because of anything sad that she wasn't there. She just had made a plan and she didn't
Right.
realize the dates. And like it was so weird with her not being there. It was fine because no one was sad about it, like in a devastating way. It wasn't like but it's just like it's not complete.
It felt different. It felt off.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can only imagine if it's because of a death, like how weird it's going to be and horrible.
This is why I'm not looking forward to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's
You
obviously
guys
a big
host.
one. Yes, we
Yeah.
host. So I am, it's going to be weird. I think the weirdest one for us is going to be Passover, just because every single Passover, my dad led it. We had the same
Hmm.
Haggadahs
Hmm.
every single year, and he would lead it,
You're going to have
and
to take that on.
which I will, and it's fine. But it's just that was always his thing, and it's going to be very bizarre to experience it without him, and not
You
without
know
him.
what? I feel for you because that's going to be those are big shoes to fill of Dr. Foot guy,
Foot guy,
foot guy.
shoes to fill with the
But
foot.
you know what? You can put like a little chair for him. And I hate to make it like emotional. I don't want to be emotional, but he is. Do you feel like he's like there with you a little bit?
I don't know. It's tough. Like I have not been able to reflect on it in that sort of way, like in like the existential, like where is my dad now and whatnot, because I don't know what I believe in terms of afterlife and death and all of that. So I can't. I really don't have an answer for that. I just don't know at this point, and it's very hard for me to kind of figure that out. But so I don't have that part of he's here with me. I feel his presence type thing. It's not my thing, I guess.
It always made me feel so much better. The biggest loss I ever had in my life was my grandfather when I was in college. It was 2000, the year 2000, but he was so close. Like he was everything to us. I was 19 years old. And I just remember wanting to feel like his presence. So, I mean, what do a lot of people think of when they think of like someone's when they die as a butterfly, like, right? That was my
Mm,
thing. So still to this day, every time I see a butterfly, but not just like some random butterfly, but it's a butterfly that like won't leave you alone. Do you ever have those butterflies that like kind of just they like they don't leave you alone. They're there. And I look for them and then they don't leave you. They're like they circle you. And I always say, "Hi Saba." And I talk to him and I'm like, we talk to him all the time, my kids and I, ever since they were babies. I'm like, "That's Saba." And that's my Saba. I love it. I think
that's
about it all the time.
it's funny. We have last week there was this butterfly that was right by our door, or at the entry to our house, and was that kind of thing, was not leaving us alone. And then like even like I we drove to go somewhere, and then we came back, and the butterfly was still there. So maybe that's what it. Am I gonna make you cry? Is that what's gonna happen?
Yes.
God, you are crying. I'm sorry. We'll stop
Well, this
talking.
is the kind of stuff that like I always listen, even if it's not true, it gives me a feeling of like, I don't know, strength, or just like it makes me feel a little less alone, because how nice would that make you feel if that was your dad? Just
Yeah.
being like, Adam, I'm here.
Interesting. I didn't even think about that. Maybe it is something that's kind of nice and something I could share with my kids too, because I think they would enjoy
It's
that. And
so good for your kids, because
yeah.
I was 19 when I first thought of that, and it made me feel, because 9/11 happened the year after, and I went through such anxiety and panic attacks, and every time I saw a butterfly I was like, thanks, Saba, I appreciate it, like I love you. And it was so important for me. For 20 some years I still feel it. And I'm telling you, one time I went to his grave. He's over here in Mount Sinai, next to Forest Lawn. And I went to his grave, and a freaking butterfly was around me. And I was
Mm.
like, Saba's here on his grave. Like, it was wild, and I feel it. So there's a book, I think it's called Signs. You're gonna laugh at me because of me and my pop culture stupidity, but Kristen Cavallari and Chelsea Handler have both talked about this, because both of them have lost really important people in their lives. Both of them actually have lost their brothers, to like really awful stories. And in this book, it talks about how you actually have to like specifically ask for and look for signs. It's not like it's one of those things that's going to bop you on the head. But if you look for a sign, like I think Chelsea Handler had talked about how she wanted it to be like an orange or something. I can't remember. And Kristen Cavallari looked for something else. I can't remember. It's one of those things that you really have to ask for and look for, but then you start to see it everywhere you look in when you start to. I don't know if it's BS or not, and some people can believe it or not. But to me, anything that gives me a sense of like wholeness, and for me with my grandfather, I remember about a year or two after he died, it took a while. He did show up in a dream of mine, not Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens style, like 1 week after he died, but like it took a year or two, and he came in my dream, and he was in his robe, which I still own because I
Mm.
saved his robe that still smells like him. I swear it will never stop smelling like him. And he said, hello, the way he used to say it, the way I used, like in his Hungarian accent when I used to come to his house. And in the dream, and he looked just like he did when he was healthy. And I opened the door, and he goes, hello, in his robe. And I was like, oh, he came to me in my dream. Like that was it. Like it was this great. I wonder if you'll see your dad in a dream one day.
Have not yet. But it will. I don't know if it'll be something that freaks me out, or if
Mm-mm.
it'll be something that's gonna
You won't
make
be
me.
scared.
Well, no, no. I mean, freak me out when I wake up. Like
No,
nothing in the dream.
it's not scary. It's like lovely. I
No,
don't
and I
think you'll
hope
be
that's true.
scared.
I hope that's true. That's
You'll
just.
be so like you'll feel so maybe sad.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. This whole death thing is,
Horrible.
that's the thing is I haven't had a chance to really reflect on it. So,
You need
um,
to.
I'll
But
talk. I'll
when
talk
you
to
go
my
to your
therapist about it.
therapist, do you
Yes.
talk about this stuff?
Of
Yeah.
course. But a lot of the stuff we've been talking about thus far, because I've only seen her, I think, two, maybe three times since he had passed. Um, is like most of the stuff has been kind of very, very surface level stuff, and kind of just how I'm dealing with, you know,
Mom.
mom and family and all of that stuff. So we haven't really kind of gotten into that nitty gritty of that kind of stuff just yet. So,
That's why you come to me.
oh, that's exactly why I
I
come to
just break you open.
you. Just put me back together, please.
Okay, I'll sew you back up.
Thank you.
Um, so what's going on right now in the world of being Jewish? How are we doing? How is the world going? It feels like a shit show still.
Yeah, I feel like, come on, like, what? Ceasefire. Yay, it's done. And now I'm still hearing shit.
It doesn't go away.
No, I know. And that's what I felt was going to happen. Like, it's so annoying that I continue to hear stuff about Israel Palestine. And like, I just leave me alone.
Move
Be
on.
done with it. Like all these celebrities and influencers and stuff. Like I know a lot of them probably made money and capitalized on the cause, so they want to continue it because some of them have money coming their way and they're probably getting clicks off of stuff. But like, it's driving me nuts.
It's
It's
so
making me crazy.
it feels so yeah, it feels really like glomming onto a cause that is not necessary to focus on when it's over. Like we're number one, the war is over. Number two, I think it's been established that the numbers are completely
Well,
all over the place and fake.
I'll read you something about that in a minute.
Okay, I would
Couple
love that.
links. Yeah.
I don't really want to get into like the nitty gritty of what happened to me over the week, but in my space of content creators, there's one person that, thank God, I don't follow, but this person reports on all kinds of pop culture stuff in my space, and but she comes at it from like a very toxic, really yucky place. And actually, when I started covering this last big scandal that I do, this lawsuit between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, she and I connected, and a lot of people had told me, stay away from her, be careful from her, because she tends to get really nasty and go after creators.
And turn on
And
people.
what?
And turn on people.
She turns on people. But this is not what I was going through in this last week. This is
Right.
like months and months ago. And I was like, oh, yeah, but like, yeah, I'll keep my, okay, I'm not like working with her or anything. I'm just like, but I thought she was actually like pretty good at a lot of things that she was revealing with the lawsuit. And everyone kept telling me, like, be careful, be careful, be careful. Well, sure enough, she turned on me at some point, like months ago, and started calling me out about it had nothing to do with a conflict. It had just something to do with the lawsuit. I was like, oh, okay. She ended up turning on like 6 other people that I knew. So luckily, blocked, bye. But just this weekend, someone had sent me, they were like, oh my God, just this weekend, apparently, she has 100 some thousand followers, but out of nowhere, she decides to write on her page, I was lied to my whole life about Israel. I've done the research. Israel is committing a genocide. Free Palestine.
Cool.
On October 26th, 2025. This is the day that you decide to say this.
Yes.
Why?
That was so weird.
Why? Like what are we doing?
I don't know. Like, why would she just do that? Like, why would she get into that on
I
that
don't know.
day?
And then apparently, and I like I said, I'm blocked, and it's not, I think she blocked me maybe or whatever, so I can't even like unblock to see. So I have no idea what's happening. But my followers were saying that in her stories, she was copying from the UN's website. So she was taking the UN's, and we all know what the UN feels about Israel, right? So like she was taking from the UN's website like 20 stories, just screenshot about how all the numbers about Israel's creating a genocide. And I'm like, this is what she's deciding to do now after the war is over?
I, this is why it's really difficult to fight against these these creators or these people or even just these people that are still very very anti-Israel is because you have an organization like the UN or you have
Which
what was the other one?
sounds so legit.
Well, of course, and then there's the other one I'm just blanking on, but
Human rights or
one of these like there's a few of them, right?
yeah.
That if you really look into it, their past have always been anti-Israel. They've never been supporting Israel, and there's people that have tried to voice their opinions in a lot of these organizations that are against, like let's say the UN's opinion of being anti-Israel, and they're kind of forced out of their jobs because they don't want that narrative. So you start seeing kind of a pattern of a lot of these organizations that have some kind of vendetta against Israel.
Yeah.
And because of that, they will post and say things like this. And what happens is that everybody who is, who doesn't know the information, has not talked about or heard about Israel Palestine for maybe their entire lives or whatever, they start seeing these things. And I can understand when you see something like the UN or a lot of these other kind of official organizations, they say these things. They say that, oh, this and that. So it's really hard to break away from that narrative if you're arguing the other side, because they're always going to say, oh, but the UN and this and that say it's a genocide. It's hard. It's
That's
hard
literally
to deal with it.
the argument that I had to fight back in my DMs for months and months and months with people. Is they say, Donna, you're brainwashed because all of these organizations are saying it's a genocide. Don't you see you're the problem?
Right.
And
And it,
I don't understand how to argue that back and say, I get it. I see what you're saying and I see how you can feel that, but at the same time, please understand that all of these people hate Israel, and they're like, don't you see that that sounds crazy?
and I have this memory of when I was in my teens, and I took a trip with my parents and my brother to Washington D.C. Or sorry, to New York. Apologies. We took a trip to New York, and we always used to go to New York all the time with my parents, just because that's where my parents grew up. And one of the trips, we decided to tour the United Nations because it's still there's cool things to see there and whatnot. And you could always see my dad was like a little skittish on the whole thing about touring the United Nations. And I remember as soon as you walked in, this was in the 90s. As soon as you walked in, there was like a big exhibit basically praising Yasser Arafat.
Mm.
Okay. I don't remember exactly what the year was, and I don't remember exactly what the exhibit was. Again, this was 30 years ago at this point. But it was this whole thing about Yasser Arafat. And I'm like, even as a teenager, I'm like, this seems a little weird. And I know I'm Jewish, and I know, like, obviously in Hebrew school, religious school, we learn about Israel and we learn about all this stuff. But even I knew at that point, I'm like, you're praising somebody who is literally okay, not just okaying, but like encouraging suicide bombings and all of these different things to happen on Israel. This is who you're standing up for at the UN. So there's always been for me that little kind of, what are you talking about? It's not, and that's what's so hard is that when you get into these arguments, they see these things on these websites saying that it's a genocide, it's a genocide. It's really hard to argue back because they're not going to believe you.
Yeah, but even well, like you, why are you touring the UN? Because in our brains as Americans growing up, the UN, United Nations, feels very legit. It's like it's a part of the US. It's like the capital, United Nations. It's very like, wow, legitimate. It's not like some fringe group.
No, it is something that is was put together in a very, legitimate reason of why you would have the United Nations,
But
right?
what's weird about the United Nations is that, and I haven't done a lot of the research, to be honest, so I'm not probably the best person to speak on this at all. But just even seeing how they treated Netanyahu on Friday, and this is not even like I'm a Friday, last month or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Um, and this is not even in support of Netanyahu or in not support of Netanyahu, but I'm just saying, like, just seeing the way that they treated Netanyahu versus the way that they treated all the other leaders of countries that are legitimate, like horrendous countries. So it's not like they were treating all countries in war the same. So if you're going to treat a country that is in war and that is in like killing others badly, then do it towards all the countries that are
Right.
in war. But it's just Israel. So there is clearly an anti-Israel bias, which is kind of, I mean, okay, here's the thing. At the end of the day, there is IDS. It's Israel derangement syndrome. It's like Trump derangement syndrome times a million. You cannot beat it. It's actually quite dangerous because people have made hating Israel their entire personality online.
Yes.
And
Yes.
what I notice, I spoke about this yesterday on my Patreon because I'm dealing with this right now in a personal way. What I noticed is that it's taking over their minds like a virus, just like kind of I think TDS has done to a lot of Americans, Trump derangement syndrome, where they're not able to see anything positive that the Republican side has done because Trump is involved in it. They immediately see a negative, even if he's doing something positive because Trump is involved. And Israel, anything positive that they've done is immediately bad because it's Israel. And what, like, at this point, people will vote for an Islamist jihad infiltration into America as long as it's not supporting Israel.
Right. It's
And
sort of it harkens back. Is that a that's
I
like
don't know. Where are
an
we,
old
Christopher
school
Columbus?
it harkens back
It
to a time.
harkens back.
What the fuck was that? Okay. And it's not even going back that long. It was going back 5 years. It harkens back. It's the same thing as QAnon, right? The QAnon thing was very much a a brainwash thing that was built on conspiracy theories. And that's the same stuff that's happening now. All of these very fringe, the people that are making their entire personalities about it, it is extremely unhealthy. They have documentaries about QAnon people, people that are still addicted to it, and people who have come out of it like cults. And this is, I don't know, I doubt they're going to make documentaries about it, but I bet you that there's going to be, there's the same thing where people are going to be pulled out of this cult, or at least they're going to be, or they're going to be staying in this cult of anti-Israel, and their entire personality until the day they die is going to be fighting this fight. And it's so ridiculous.
I pray to God that there's going to be some sort of awakening at some point. Maybe we need another like horrendous terrorist attack coming from the Islamic side for people to wake up to the real danger in America. But I don't want that to be the case. But even if that happens, I think people will blame Israel.
Well, of course, because they're the reason they're doing it is because Israel attacked them. So that is the reason they're attacking us. So it's obviously Israel's fault.
So like what is really concerning is that right now online there's this video that just went. So I don't know where you spend most of your time online. I'm kind of in
Porn.
terms of what?
Porn.
I'm so glad that your wife listens to this podcast.
Yes.
Hi, Lauren. So I spend most of my time between like Instagram and I spend a lot of time on X because I just like kind of just reading it. But X is really dangerous because the algorithm is so good. And you spend one little moment on one video or one person's thing, and then all of a sudden every single thing in your feed is about that. So for example, I tend to get really into a lot of, people's posts about just say like angry about Candace Owens, right? Like that is a trigger for me. So, I get like kind of sucked into the rage bait shit about that, or Ian Carroll, or like these really insane conspiracy theorists about how Israel killed Charlie Kirk type stuff. And I found myself on this video that went insanely viral. And it was this woman. When I tell you, I thought she was literally speaking a different language. And everyone thought she was the smartest person in the world. And this is what this is. It's basically she's talking about the fact that imagine we are time travelers. And it's like someone dropped us off in a different time, but we just don't have the tools because the truth is out there, but we don't have the tools to understand the truth. And it's like, we haven't really gone to the moon and we haven't really figured out anything. Literally, these people think everything that is happening to us is a conspiracy. Everything. Every single thing. And the comments were like, that's it. This is it. Nothing is real. Nothing is real anymore. This is truly a mental illness now.
It's
No
like,
one believes anything. We're all in a simulation. It's all the Truman Show. No, you know what the caption of the video was, which I know that this is why they're Candace Owens followers. Everything is fake and gay, because that's what Candace Owens calls everything. She does that. Do you know that she calls space fake and gay?
she does.
She says space is fake and gay. So now I know that this is a Candace Owens person. She
Right.
goes, everything is fake and gay. And I'm like, great. So the world is fake and gay. Everything Trump and the administration does is fake and gay. 9/11 was fake and gay. Landing on the moon was fake and gay. Nothing is real.
Why fake and gay? Like what's the why?
That's Candace
Why?
Owens talk. Ask her.
Why?
I don't know. Are you fake and gay?
I'm one or the other. I'm not going to tell you. You got to figure it out yourself.
Lauren.
Well, okay, so here I had this incident that's kind of like it's been kind of going on with this creator. I try not to engage, but sometimes it gets.
Can't help it.
So every Friday night I have kind of this tradition with my daughters to just watch like these kind of family friendly TikToks. There's a couple of like random accounts that we find that they enjoy. There's a couple of Lego ones. So we go through them for like a half hour. We watch it on Friday nights.
Okay.
So there's this one creator who does something called Roll for Cereal, which is basically the whole, and there's a lot of these Roll for things on TikTok, which is basically they create these different concoctions of, okay, you start with this bowl and then you start with a base cereal and then you add this type of milk and you add this topping and then you add this drizzle and then you go through these different things and you create combinations. And the whole roll for is you have like a list of different cereals, and then you roll a die, and then whatever number it comes up on is that cereal that you're going to be eating for that episode. And then, you know, the next thing is let's say the topping. So you roll the die and there's two toppings and you
Oh, it's
get
just silly
marshmallows.
food.
It's literally, they have roll for soda, they have roll for sandwich, they have roll for real, they have all these different ones. And it's so like family friendly stuff, right? So this guy who does this roll for cereal is this guy Gabe. And I guess he's
Is he faking Gabe?
no, he is real and Gabe, unfortunately. And I think he's actually a TV writer. I don't know what he's done. I've looked him up on IMDb. He's done some stuff here and there. And he started this channel, and it does very well. Anyway, he is definitely he's definitely anti-Israel.
Mm.
And, you know, he makes comments here and there. And like, for instance, on he does episodes on Fridays. So we watch it Friday night, and he said I guess it was Worldwide UN Day, I guess, on Friday or some bullshit like that. And which I looked it up. There's an actual day for that. And he, of course, then starts talking about, at the very beginning of the episode, is how, you know, we should, you know, talk to the UN about why America is supporting this genocide in Israel. And it's like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, you have these opinions, and I get that this is your channel, but like, I'm sitting here with my children.
No, it's not
watching
appropriate.
this, and I'm not saying he has to change anything. Like, it's his channel, right? He can do whatever the F he wants to do. And it's just aggravating to me that something like that, like so minimal about cereal and just that small piece of entertainment, still has to have this at the beginning of it. And it's not every episode. He has said things a couple times here and there. When there was the starvation BS that was happening, there was something said, and not once about anything about the hostages, nothing about anything else. But it's always that. And it really kills me, because it's like, it's my girl's favorite thing to watch is this roll for cereal every Friday night. And now I just see, like, I can tell that he's going to talk about that at either the beginning of the episode or the end. So I will just fast forward. But he caught me off guard this Friday because I didn't know what UN Day was. I didn't know what it was going to be. So you gotta
rewatch. You gotta watch it before you show it to them.
I
now
really
because
should, because then I know when to fast forward. Because it's not even the fact that I don't want my kids to be brainwashed into I don't need my kids seeing any of this.
No, because you don't want them asking questions like, "What is this? Why is he saying that?" Or it's not fair. They're so young.
And then I got visually angry when we were watching it on Friday. That even Bellamy asked me, "What's wrong? What did he say?" And then I didn't explain it. I kind of brushed it off. But I don't want to deal with that when I'm trying to entertain my children with something so mindless.
Totally.
And it just really, really pissed me off. And it continues to do that. And I don't want to not watch it, because we only watch it once and that's it. And my kids will enjoy it. But yes, now I'm going to have to watch every episode before to make sure he doesn't say anything. And if he does, then I know what to fast forward it to.
Is he on YouTube?
I'm trying to remember. I think he's on YouTube too, but he's mostly on TikTok. I think that's where he's.
Are the comments like shouting him out, like in
Of course. Oh my God.
Like
you go on there and the first thing is always about, oh, thanks for dropping that knowledge at the beginning of the video. You're totally right. He's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, just talk about cereal. It's cereal. It's not genocide.
It's because it's a virtue signaling.
Yeah, of course it is. And it's like, what is this doing for anyone?
Like, is he taking any of the dollars that he's making from this video and doing anything with it?
Honestly, I don't know. I have not looked into what he does with any of that. He hasn't said anything, at least during his videos, or at least some of the parts that I have seen. So I don't know. And I it just makes me so angry when I have to see that.
It's very annoying that it's a family channel. Like, it's one thing. So I am all for people having their own opinions and saying what they want to say because, hello, I just got like, you know, told that I wasn't. And I think that everyone should have their own ability to say what they want to say, and everyone can. But we're allowed as viewers to also have an opinion and be able to say, just like people are saying, like, "Go you." We can also say, "Hey, are you sure that you know the whole story?" Or, "Hey, can I talk to you about that?" Or they should also know, and it shouldn't be family friendly content. Like, that is not family content to start off by this is a genocide, etc. You should, like, if you want to have a separate channel talking about, you know, political issues, that's fine. But that to me is completely alienating kids. That's brainwashing children into a certain political side when you don't have um when you're bringing, because he knows that his audience is kids, and there's a lot of, like, most adults are not watching that on their own.
I'm sure because if you look at all a lot of the other Roll for series is that's not a word, but if you look at all the other ones, there's one called Roll for Soda, and it's a bigger account, it's huge, and at the end of that he does shout outs to a lot of the fans, and it's always families. It's always families. So if
So
this
just watch
guy,
that one instead.
well, that one sucks. Sorry, sorry, Roll for Soda guy, you do a great job. But the Roll for Cereal one, the way I guarantee he's going to argue is like, this is not a family channel. I never said it was a family channel. So you're coming
Yeah,
here.
I mean, he's going to continue to do whatever he wants, but it's just like it's so inappropriate. But I look, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you kind of can't stop people from doing what they want because it's all about how they feel as human beings. They feel better about themselves. Oh, I'm saying something. I am helping the world, you know? Um, I mean, look at Miss Rachel, how she's spoken out, even though she doesn't speak out in her videos to help the little kids or whatever. She does bring on these little kids from Gaza all the time on her videos, and look at little, you know, I don't know what their names are, Raza from Gaza, and you know, she's cooking with her food, you know, like, so she is subliminally bringing in that messaging for little kids all the time. And speaking of, I just saw today that Glamour magazine, who is an incredibly liberal magazine, and the reason I know this is because they were, well, there's many reasons, but they are not my favorite because of the way they attacked creators who were on Justin Baldoni's side, including people like me. Um, they, uh, they linked me in their online digital video, so I'm really not a fan. But they named Miss Rachel and Rachel Zegler, two of our favorite Rachels, as Women of the Year. Yeah. So it turns out being anti Israel does get you far in life as a
Um,
woman.
by the way, it's October. We're already doing Women of the Year.
Sure.
Can we wait until December at least?
Sure.
Come
I
on,
don't know.
idiots.
Whatever. There's no years in glamour.
Um, well, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, I know. And then, listen, I understand capitalism, but then walking into a Target and seeing an entire end cap of Miss Rachel stuffies and books and shit, I'm like, that's why I always take pictures of it and send it to you every time I'm at a Target. I'm like, it's so aggravating to see this woman making so much money and then having to hear about all her political bullshit.
I mean, I did tell you the story about how I ended up having dinner with someone who is a high up agent at the agency that represents Miss Rachel, right? We
No,
talked about that here?
I don't think we talked about it here.
No?
No.
I'm scared to say too much, but essentially this person is very pro Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "How in the world can you represent someone like a Miss Rachel?" And they said, "Because money's money, baby."
Yep. It's what it is. It's all about money. It's
It
all
was
about
it was like highly devastating to listen to.
it's all about money, and these are the same people that accuse uh, us of getting $7,000 per post, which is funny because now we are being accused of it. I love that we are. They have now got into our
You and I
comment
are getting
section.
accused of it?
Yeah, they've gone to our comment section on TikTok. They are constantly saying that we were making $7,000 per post.
You know, it's so funny how this like one little thing has become so widespread, the $7,000 per post. Number one, the amount of times that I get that in my comments now is so wild, especially in this last week. It's been insane. I wish
Yeah,
we get paid zero to do Just You and Me.
nothing.
We're not even monetized.
Nope.
We're doing this out of the good. This is our mitzvah.
We're menches.
This is our bar mitzvah project. We don't get paid a dollar. We would like to get paid.
Yes. So
Bring it
like
on.
and
Bring
subscribe.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, no, this is a crazy ass like rumor and lie. You know, it would shock people that we would actually just feel so passionate about getting a positive word out there and trying to negate some of these like horrible lies out there for free.
Yeah. I mean, we've since October 7th, we've been dealing with a lot of shit and a lot of stuff from whether it's your community or it's just people every day that we have to hear anti-Semitism, spouted, and no one seems to care about it. This is what we want. We started this because we needed to figure out a way to talk about Judaism in a different way and kind of try to rewrite that narrative to see if we can change anybody's mind or at least help people that are in the same similar situation that we're in. And that's the reason we're doing this.
Yeah, just to make anyone that feels, and I do believe it's helping some people because I get DMs from people all the time, and we do on Just You and Me's Instagram as well. And we get emails from some people that are just like, "Thank you so much. I listen to you guys every week." That it makes me feel like you guys are like in my brain. I feel the exact same way as you. You don't have to be a super religious Jew. We're definitely not. You don't have to be religious at all. You just have to have like a little bit of common sense out there to understand. And I'm not saying that Adam and I are like, we're right about everything, because even you and I disagree about a lot of things. It's
Mm-hmm.
just about having common sense about, not falling for the headlines, not falling for the first thing that you see out there. That's the one thing that I learned more than anything since October 7th is now not falling for the headlines about anything
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
So
Meanwhile, we have what?
no, no, go continue. I want to make a point to that.
Yeah, not following. Oh, is it about the numbers? I would love to hear that,
Okay.
please.
So just real quick. So there's this guy, I think his name is Salo Eisenberg. I don't know if you're familiar with this dude, but
Mm-mm.
he is an author. He's very well regarded. He writes for a this website called honestreporting.com, which
Oh,
kind
yes,
of
I know honest
right.
reporting.
So they basically kind of show the reality of the situation rather than, what people are saying in the headlines, and really kind of dissect all of this. So I just want to read you this. He had this great post on X, and I want to just read you. I'm not going to read the entire post because it's like an actual article,
Blog.
but I'm going to read you the conclusion of what it says. The latest analysis, and this is all about casualties and deaths in Gaza. Okay. The latest analysis points to a grounded estimate of 1,400 war-related deaths due to the IDF action, consisting of about 24,000 combatants and 33,400 civilians, plus additional deaths caused by Hamas. Civilian casualties are tragic, and large number of minors killed cannot be dismissed, but they are overwhelmingly the result of the Hamas human shield strategy, whereby it places its military assets where civilians are present. The civilian to combatant ratio of 1.4 to 1 is remarkably low by historical standards of urban warfare in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it demonstrates that the IDF has waged a highly targeted campaign against Hamas under extraordinarily difficult conditions. Claims that large numbers of civilian deaths remain unreported do not hold up. Families have had nearly 2 years to submit fatalities, even without a body, and via phone call or Google form, and many rubble deaths were already added to the list. The evidence shows that Hamas's headline fatality toll is a distortion, and the true picture is of a war where Israel has inflicted massive losses on Hamas fighters while conducting one of the most targeted urban campaigns in modern history. And this is quoting historians. This entire thing is talking about the actual numbers and really kind of digs into everything when you take an entire picture of how many people have died, how does this war compare to other wars. These numbers have been so completely all over the place. We had seen, I remember at one point, there was an article about 685,000
It's like psycho.
Gazans killed. And it's like, yeah, they ran it and people picked it up and it continued. And I still see people quoting that stupid article, right? And then now when you go back and look, the estimate is 57,000 deaths, okay?
Total, and that includes Hamas.
That includes the number of combatants, the number of Hamas members. And that also includes, unfortunately, the women and children that have been put in harm's way by Hamas, and in the event of human shields. So when you look at what Israel has done, and I know I'm preaching to you, I'm preaching to the choir when I'm preaching to you about this, but they have been, again, this has been one of the most strategically targeted wars in terms of trying to get rid of Hamas and trying to keep civilians safe. You can even read more into this where remember when the war was like really underway, started to get underway, and there was that hospital that was bombed and all that stuff. They talk about that specifically, and they talk about how not only were people warned to get out, but you had IDF soldiers with Israeli doctors with them bringing food and water and treatment to help gather people to leave these buildings, to leave the hospital, to get them out of the way. So all the shit that people have been hearing for the last 2 years about death tolls, about civilian casualties, again, and we talked about it, we know it, but it's been bullshit. It's been
Totally.
it's been a shit ton of lies. And people need to look at the numbers and look into the actual facts. So then when you see these places like the UN and everything else, like these organizations, and this guy Gabe, who is Roll for Cereal, who's talking about the genocide that happened or happening, I don't know what he said at that point. It's a bunch of lies that people are falling for. And it's
Unfortunately, I hate to say it, no one that needs to see it will ever look at it.
no, because you can post these articles, you can post all this stuff in a stupid comment. You think anyone's going to click on it and do any of these things? No.
Can you send that to me?
Yes. I will text it to you.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Yes.
All right. Well, Adam, it was good to catch up this week. That's a really interesting fact. I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna repost it. I'm glad we got to catch up. I hope that you continue to have a decent week. I hope you don't get sick. You're
Yeah,
not
I
getting
know.
sick.
I know.
No, it's not. I hope you don't say I'm not getting sick.
Not getting sick.
Go and take as many multivitamins as you have in the house every day until Wednesday, and go Dodgers.
Yes, go Dodgers. Woo, let's do it. Let's
Okay.
do it. Back to back.
And you guys, thank you so much for sticking around for Just You and Me, supporting our show. Thank God for good people like you. Make sure to keep subscribing, telling your friends if you have any people in your life that are just like, I don't get it. Do you have anyone that you listen to that like just talks about it on a casual basis? We don't talk about it like from a very historical place, but just like if you want some friends in this space. That's us.
That's us. We're here for you.
We're here for you. Make sure to follow us on Just You and Me on Instagram. Adam posts some great reels, always like the one that you posted of me this weekend where I was just
Yes.
like, F you.
I love it. It's
I just got like
one of my
over
favorites.
it.
It's so good. So good.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm so unhinged. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. Talk to you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.